Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for taking time to jump on this Wednesday, June 5th. Definitely excited to share with what we have coming for you all. This has definitely been a long time coming. When I say long time coming, I would say years and years and years in the works. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Basically, the education, the expensive education, the sweat equity that's been put into this product that definitely is going to be kicked off and launched here in the coming weeks. We're excited to bring that to you. I know we've talked about, that this thing would be launched in June. I know in the back office it says June 17th. I know our target date, our goal date was June 1st. So we're a little bit off on that. We're definitely still on track for that, the hard stop date of June 17th. Just a quick update on that. We're waiting on just a couple technology pieces, just connecting APIs, not only from the standpoint of Nelo to the platform to the liquidity partner, the broker, where it's actually traded directly on the market. So we're really close, literally right there at the finish line. We'll do some extensive testing. And so once we have an exact date, we'll kick it off, but we are close. We're right there. We're inside the red zone, getting ready to punch the ball in. So those for you that are outside the United States that do not know American football, which I should be talking to, we're ready to score and excited to really kick this thing off and launch it for you all. But first of all, before we jump in, kind of share with what we're going to do, I'm going to share a disclaimer because we all want to keep it good. We're going to talk about the financial markets. We're going to talk about foreign exchange market. Trading Forex does carry risk, and you're going to hear our whole story on the risks that we've experienced. We've gone through, hear about Cameron, his team, what they've done. You're going to see some past performance. Now, past performance does not predict future results. But it definitely shows you, what this team has done, what the technology's done, and what definitely Cameron and his team are definitely capable of. But before you kick this thing off, like I said, we are not live right now. Before we kick it off, we definitely highly recommend for you to read the full disclaimer. This is not a solicitation to invest. It's never going to be a solicitation to invest. This is a product that can definitely save some people time, save some people energy. And so, when we talked, literally it's been 7 weeks since we started this pre-launch. We talked a few weeks prior to that. I was going over a handful of trading things that I've been involved with Eric, our co-founder. And he's like, man, why don't we launch something with one of those trading products? And I'm like, it's not that easy because there have been hundreds, if not thousands of companies that have tried to attempt to do this, right? I've been involved in, a couple dozen myself personally, been involved with, not only from the standpoint of a company, I've used dozens of different technologies myself to trade personally. I've taken a number of extensive trading courses. Trading is one of those things that you legitimately need your 10,000 hours to become an expert. We've all heard the old adage of that, it takes 10,000 hours of doing anything to become an expert, right? Whether it is, in sales, whether it's in marketing, right? Whether it is becoming a mechanic, it does not matter what your plumber, it does not matter what your craft is. It typically takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert. And so trading in the financial markets, trading the foreign exchange market is no different. They say about 3% of the people that trade win. Why is that? Because about 3% of the people take the time and energy that it takes to go become an expert by putting their hours and hours and hours and hours in. And so the product that we definitely prepared not only has a team of traders that have put the time and energy and hours and resources in, but also they've been able to build a team, a development team that can build the technologies, the algorithms that can actually help increase the odds of winning in the financial market. So we're incredibly excited about the product that we have to offer. Before we jump into some returns, really someone that looks like, we wanted to kind of do this a little bit more informal today, kind of talk about how we ended up here. When I say we, I mean our partner group, Cameron and his team. I only say we because Cameron and I go way back. We've 5 years ago or so, I was invited on a Zoom to try my first bot, my first algorithm. They're called bots. They're called trading algorithms. They're called, computer. There's a lot of different names for them. So Cameron was on a Zoom, just me and him and a good friend of mine. He set up my first bot. And I saw some good success with that in the first few months. I was blown away enough to where I took a deep dive and I said, hey, I'm going to commit myself to learning one new thing per week. So I'm not an expert. I have not put my 10,000 hours in. I've traded a lot. I've been very consistent at it. I put in, an hour or 2 hours a day. over the course of the last 5 years on learning, becoming better, but nothing in comparison to what Cameron and his team have put in. Over that period of time, I've seen Cameron have massive success. I've seen him literally, surround himself by the individuals and the people, the who's who, the thought leaders when it comes to this industry, when it comes to the space, when it comes to the trading world. Travel all over the world. He sent me pictures, when he was in Cyprus, pictures when he was in Dubai. He's taken teams to, his teams of his trading teams, to Tenerife, to all over the world, literally becoming the best when it comes not only to trading technologies, but also their craft when it comes to them having success in the markets. And so when Eric came to me, a little over 2 months ago and said, hey, let's do this. And I want to do this in a massive way outside the United States. I'm like, the financial markets are it. And I definitely have something for you. In fact, I talked to, a person that we all know, Dante Lewis, and we went back and forth, and he's like, man, there's nothing better than what this fund has done from the standpoint of capital preservation, number one, and conservative returns. And so we're going to kind of go back and forth today, kind of chat. I think you'll kind of see why Dante said that, why I said that, because this is one of those things that is, to me, it's one of the most compelling, most exciting products that there is to offer, not only this industry, but outside the industry. If you guys have never looked at a compound interest calculator, you'll start learning, hey, how it's so addicting it is and why this product is so powerful. I would say outside the United States, the finance markets are about 50% of the direct selling industry. Yet, I have yet to see a company that has put together a product that lasts longer than 12, 18, 24 months, because they're not easy, right? And so I think you're going to get to see why we're excited to partner with Cameron and his team. There's a group of them. You've met a couple of them in past Zooms, but why we're excited to partner with them. And then we're going to go through the whole process of why it's taken a couple months to put together technology-wise, because we want to eliminate some of the pinch points that comes to the market, some of the pitfalls that people definitely have seen, and some of the bad experiences we've had. And so why the whole thing's been put together for that. But with that being said, Cameron, I'm going to let you kind of jump in, say hi, take it away, maybe tell a little bit about your story, a little bit about your trading background, and we'll start going back and forth on how you came to the systems, the tools, the technology, the trading, I would say, not only systems, but your trading philosophies that you currently have that have led you to success.
Yeah, love to. Thanks for having me on, Nick. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, hear you well. Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Yeah. At any point, if I'm rambling too much, cut me off and bring me back on track. I'm just pumped up. I'm excited for sure. I think there's a lot of great things that are happening right now, and the timing is perfect. But I'm over here scrolling through everyone that's on this call, and I'm recognizing a couple names. Some of you I've seen before. Some of you, I've known you for quite some time in the past. And most of these names, though, are completely brand new to me. So I'm very excited to connect with you guys over this next, couple months and years, and hopefully a decade, that we're able to put this incredible opportunity together. And if you guys could, just to get me a little bit more excited, if you guys could jump in the chat, if you could write in the chat where in the world you're calling in from. I can only imagine that as we do this, as we launch, and the timing where we're at right now, you guys are probably some of the first people, because we're in pre-launch, because this has not been given out to the market. You guys are going to be the first people, whether it's in your region or city, town, area, country, that is going to get their hands on this opportunity and technology. So I would love to be able to see that.
I think I have the chat turned off for some reason, so they can raise their hands. So, hey, excited to hear about our trading products, excited to hear about Cameron's background and success with Leader. Definitely raise your hand. Give us a high five, right? High five in the chat. Give us some love. We're excited. Like I said, Cameron's traveled all over the world to put this scene together, to put some leaders in his team together. So we're definitely sure. But we have people tuning in. I'm noticing some names definitely all over the world. It's good to see some of your names up here popping in. Currently, right now, Neela Life in its short 7 weeks, we have enrollments in over 100 countries. And so I know a lot of those people are here and said yes because of this product that we're bringing. And so we're excited to definitely launch and kick it off. So appreciate you guys raising your hands. And as you guys hear things you like, definitely don't be afraid to give Cameron some love.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you were talking a little bit about why so many people fail, I was having little flashbacks as to the accounts that, I had started and lost money on, how defeated I felt when I thought I had a strategy that worked in the market 4, 5, 6 years ago. For me, I'd started trading 7 years ago, and I saw people online that were winning, and it was not as simple as what I was being sold online. The courses, the tens of thousands of dollars I spent on courses, the different algorithms that I started to use, the different indicators that I was sold on would be the next indicator that would give me the edge to win in the market and do X percentage per month and help me become rich and travel the world. And so as you were saying that, it's crazy to think about. And when I first embarked on trading, and then we finally got connected, you've seen the whole progression from where I'm from. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I was living there when we first got connected and started trading together. And now I'm living in Miami, and my life has changed a lot. And it's changed because of the team that we've cultivated, like Nick mentioned. We have a full-on dev team. We have a trading team as well. Myself, I'm one of the traders and included in the couple people that are making the decisions and analyzing the markets and analyzing the decisions that are being made on these accounts every single day and every single week and every single month. So it really does take a team, and this has been a multiple year process. I would say close to 5 years of networking and traveling and investing to get to this point. So we launched our private accounts and funds just under 3 years ago. And why we've come together at this point is because of a couple reasons. I truly do not believe that the average person does not have the time, the resources, and the whole deck of cards is stacked against them in becoming a profitable trader, but then becoming massively successful in the markets.
Let's expand on that. And so I agree, right? So when I first was shared this, the first time I met Cameron, I said, I don't have the time. Like I was, busy with another business that I was running and, building a team in this industry. And I said, I don't have the time. I'd love to do it. Sounds really incredible. I just don't have the time. And they're like, well, this one's going to be simple because you're going to be running a bot. And so, I had to jump on, go through that. And what I learned over that process, it wasn't that simple. In fact, I actually built a team with that. And I spent hours upon hours upon hours helping people set up their bots, helping people run their bots, helping people make decisions on their bots. So it is not that simple. And from the standpoint of not just being simple on that, in the end, the psychology, the mental piece of it too was massive. And so you're going to hear a lot of things from other people. Hey, it's just a signal. It's just going to send to you. Well, you still have to learn proper risk management, the lot sizes, putting stop losses, take profit, all the psychology that goes along with it. That's massive. If it's a bot, you still have to learn how to plug it in, how to turn on, how to do all the things. So there are tools that make it simpler, that shorten those time frames. But in the end, there's still a massive lot. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I just, want to expand upon that you're going to hear a lot of things from different people out there in the financial space that, hey, no, this is simple. This is easy. But in reality, it's definitely not.
It's not, because and not to go too deep technically, to expand a little bit more on that, there's not one single strategy that works 100% of the time. It's not possible with different economic news coming into the market. I remember when Trump was in office, he would sometimes jump on Twitter and he could be talking about some tariff and the market would go crazy. And that could cause an exposure in the strategy that you have, whether it's a signal or a trading bot or whatever it is, even if you're manually trading. So there's nothing that is bulletproof and can last the test of time. So that's why we have a dev team. That's why we're every single month and every single quarter, we're auditing, okay, how is the market moving? How are our confluences and all the data sets and the data points that we've cultivated, how are they going to continue to have an edge in the market? And is there something that looks like it can expose our now existing strategy? And so these things take a lot of investment and a lot of time. And I'm not saying that someone can't do it. I think, it's possible. Obviously, I've been able to with our team, but it's this, what I love about when Nick gave me a call a couple months ago. I personally, I've been in and out of the network marketing space for over a decade now. And I have an absolute very strong love for the industry. And when I looked at, okay, how this product was going to be coming to all of you and how we were going to be launching it, we kind of went back and forth, and what this allows everyone to do is to go and build your team, share this with the world, create financial freedom on the side of the compensation plan, but then while also having an asset in your back pocket that you can use to then grow that capital. Because everyone knows that, you can't just make money, save it, and that's how you're going to go retire and become rich and live the life that you want to live, unless you make millions and millions of dollars. But not everyone can make millions and millions of dollars just off of their income. So with this asset that's in your back pocket, you can now use that to grow and compound over time. And that's what I've done. I started it with our strategies and what we're doing now, and with what we're coming to the table with you guys. I just started with 10K. And then I added a little bit more, and I added a little bit more. And over time, it's turned into a lot of capital. And now it's changed my situation. And that's because over a 2.5 year period, it's been able to compound and grow. And I've been able to settle in on that. And that's really I think that's really important that, myself in this, I use my own product. I use my own product at a level that I would assume probably no one is going to be using it at, because I have the utmost belief, and I can also share that with all of you guys and show the living proof of how it's worked for me. So this has also been something that I've shared with friends and family. My mom actually makes a lot more money than she's ever made in her life. My dad is completely retired, and I have other friends and 10-year business partners that have been able to prosper on a very high level from this entire opportunity. So when Nick called me, I was very excited, because I saw that, that no one's going to have to make any decisions. You're going to be able to come in seamlessly, get started, turn on the technology, and then get it working for you. And then from there, you can keep the main thing. And what I found, I was listening to Mark Cuban a couple of years ago. He was talking about if I would assume most people on this call know who Mark Cuban is. If you don't, he's one of the greater American entrepreneurs, owns the Dallas Mavericks. And he was talking about why he believes entrepreneurs and why entrepreneurs fail, and why people ultimately don't end up becoming successful, who have the level of ambition, who want to go take the risk. He believes that people stretch themselves too thin. They try to become a jack of all trades instead of mastering one thing. And what we're doing here is, I've already spent, myself and my team, we have already spent the resources, the time, the energy. We figured out the formula to go and grow the capital. So why would you go and spend the next 3, 4, 5 years figuring out how you can potentially do it yourself, when you can leverage a tool, and then you can keep the main thing by growing a business, starting to build up a network marketing business that can pay you on top of the actual asset itself. And that, to me, that marriage of those two worlds, I believe to the motivated, ambitious person, this is going to be very simple. It's just going to take time and effort, and dedication and consistency. And if you do that and you stay patient, then you're going to see some incredible change in your situation, just like I have. So, Nick, if there's any other points you'd like me to jump into?
Yeah. I mean, the reason we kind of want to be a little bit more informal today is last night we had a Zoom. It was an individual. He'd built a team in the hundreds of thousands of people with a financial company. And so Cameron said, hey, yeah, share your experience, what you've seen in the markets, what you've seen in the business side. And he then went on to spend the next, 15, 20 minutes talking about, I think I counted 8 different either companies / investment opportunities, investment accounts that he had been in. and every one of them had failed. And so he, there was one that he said was a rug pull, meaning that it was not legitimate, meaning that the money was actually not in his control and wasn't there, and then the money was taken. He mentioned a couple of those. He mentioned a number of other ones where they blew accounts. Now, Cameron, have you blown an account?
Yeah, many times.
Yes. How long has it been though since you've blown an account?
4 years.
Yeah. So how many did you blow in your first 3 years? A plethora.
That's an embarrassing number. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And seriously, I'm the same. And if you guys know me, I'm like one of the most conservative people out there. Cameron knows that about me. Like I like to run things really conservative, but I definitely have as well too. And here's why, is because when you jump on and you trade, right? And let's say you have a little bit of success or you're using a bot, and this happened when I built a team with using bots, is that they would do, 7% 1 month. I'm like, wait a second. If I change that thing, it goes from 7 to 14, but they don't understand all the things that go into it. They don't understand how the algorithm works. They don't understand how the market works. They don't understand proper risk management. So they push that button, and guess what? Maybe next month they do 14%, right? But the month after that, the market moves a little bit more, it gets out of just mainstream, and that's where an account comes in and blows. And so when it comes to trading, it's not just the technology, right? It's not just the alerts that you get. It's not just the entry points. There's so many things that go into it, but one of the biggest things is definitely proper risk management when it comes to that. And so we were talking about all these different things in the different failed endeavors. And he's like, yeah, we had teams, in the hundreds of thousands of people, and accounts blew. All the funds were lost. And so as he was telling the story, we had a lot of nightmares, me personally, Cameron personally as well, because we've all had similar experience. And that's a pretty normal thing, unfortunately, in the financial space, period. Right. And we asked him the question, said, what do you think led to that? And he's like, trying to run products too aggressive, right? Not asking the right questions on the front end, things not being properly set up. And so when it comes to running things aggressive, when it comes to pushing the envelope when it comes to returns, Cameron, kind of talk about your philosophy, because this is one thing that, if not the main thing on why we wanted to partner with Cameron and his team, because when it comes to long-term trading accounts, me, Cameron, challenge anyone out there, I've personally never seen a MyFX book or a validated, verified trading account that did 10% a month that's lasted over 12 months. I've never seen a validated, verified trading account that anything above 10% lasted longer than that. It doesn't exist. They'll tell you that it exists. They'll tell you it does fun, but there's never proof, validated, verified proof. But what Cameron and his team have been able to do is that over the last 30 months, 29 months, they have validated, verified proof of an account that has millions of dollars in it. It's had almost 10 million in deposits. It's had over $7.5 million of withdrawals of a validated, verified third-party account they've averaged, 5 to 6% a month. And that includes a couple of losing months. That includes months where they've done, 1.5%. That includes months where they've done, 5 and 6%. So it's real validated, verified trading. But that comes to me from a combination of things, right? Risk management, proper technology, proper traders, but most importantly, it comes with the right mindset of not running too aggressive. Can maybe kind of share, your story on why you guys run like that, but number one, but number two, how you came to get to that point, by trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick was bringing up briefly blown accounts. It's basically when you run out of money in your account. You take too many trades, you take too large of trades, and you're losing those trades, and you lose the capital, and it gets eaten up by the market. So basically how I view the market is I believe that, the market doesn't move the exact same way every single day, doesn't move the exact same way every single week or every single month. So the only way that I believe that you can consistently win in the market is just by taking little bites. Sometimes those bites are a little bit bigger. Sometimes those bites are a little bit smaller. Sometimes you take more bites in a week. Sometimes you don't. But the only way you can differentiate whether you take more or not is based off of the strategy that you have. So if your strategy is for us, this week, for example, we've done 0.6% return. Now that we're at 0.6% on the week, I'm not looking for as many opportunities. I'm not looking to be in as many trades now that I'm coming up on that 1% on the week. So, and when in the market, I believe that if I just consistently just bite off what I can chew and not add more weight or take extra risk to try to reach a certain percent every single week, whether it's, for me, if I end at 0.2% in the week or I end at 1.5% in the week, it's, for me, I'm obviously more ecstatic if I make a little bit more, but it doesn't change my decisions on, oh, if I'm at 0.2, well, I need to get to 0.5. For me, I know that if I just take what the market gives me, then it's going to allow me to continue to grow and stack on the account and grow and stack on the account. And after a year, I'm going to be ecstatic as to what the returns are going to be. So my philosophy is that I don't want to increase the risk in the market. I don't want to force trades. I don't want to take more trades because I haven't gotten to a certain point. What I want to do is I want to add more capital to my account so that when I do 1% on my account, if I have $10,000 in my account and I do 1%, it's $100. Well, I want to increase that to $100,000 in my account. So I make $1,000. So what we say is don't increase the risk, increase your equity, increase the balance in your account. And if you're in a position like I was a couple of years ago, where I did not have a lot of capital, I didn't have a lot of equity to start with, I just started with a little bit. And then I used it kind of like a accelerated bank account and increased that equity in my account size so that those percentages became larger based off of my account balance, not based off of my risk. And that's where I believe ultimately traders make the biggest mistake, because as a trader, we're fighting this emotional war, greed and fear and doubt and confidence that we have in the market. If you win 10 trades in a row, you're going to be more confident than if you lose two trades in a row. It's just a fact. So how we mitigate that is by not increasing or changing our risk as we win or lose. We stick to the game plan and we get in and out of the market. And as we get in and out of the market, we add capital to our accounts. And that's what's allowed us to be able to run for 28 plus months and for us to be up over 400% return on our accounts. Now, if you guys were on this call, if we were doing this call back in December of 2021, you guys would probably be worshiping the ground I walk on and be absolutely in love with me, like some of my clients. My mom's in Europe right now, traveling all over Europe. She's been gone for 4 weeks. She just today's actually her birthday. She texted me yesterday. She's like, I think I'm going to extend my trip. I think I'm going to be there for a couple more weeks. She lives here in Miami with us, and she's living her best life. She's making the most money she's ever made. She's enjoying it, and and she hasn't lifted a finger. She doesn't do anything besides what she wants to do on a day-to-day basis. And that is because instead of having, she doesn't have just $5,000 or $10,000 in her account. She has a good amount of capital. And that allows her, from us being conservative traders, that's allowed her to be able to grow her account. And she's been someone that's taken advantage of that 400% return. So if we were on this call back in December, you guys would be, this call would probably have, 5,000, 10,000 people on it, maybe even more. So I'm excited to be jumping in with you guys here at Nilo. I think you guys got an incredible leadership team. I think all the right decisions and right moves are being made for longevity. This is not a get rich quick, especially not on the trading side. This is a lot more give me 1 second. This is more the type of deal that you have to be patient. You have to, we just take what the market gives us. And as that happens, it's blessed us over time by not being greedy and jumping into any pitfalls that the market presents. So yeah, over time, I can't wait. I can't wait to travel to some of the countries and grow teams and continue to share results and produce returns like we have over the last couple of years for you guys. It's perfect timing. I think the setup is perfect, and I think you guys have a great opportunity to leverage a team that has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of hours of time, and you can keep the main thing the main thing. in your guys' camp and build a business, and then leverage already professionals that are working with some huge strategies that, on top of that, have generate some incredible results. So
I
thanks for
love
having
it.
me on. If there's
Yeah, I
anything
love
else?
it. I love what he's sharing, right? So one reason why I kind of go back and forth and share with you guys philosophies on this Zoom, getting in closer to when we'll be launching it, is because philosophies and the mindset to me is way more important than the inputs that put in there. You could have the best trade strategy in the world, the best trader in the world, if the right psychology, the right mindset, the right mental fortitude, the right mental strength is not there, they're not going to win consistently in the markets, right? And to me, the right philosophies and the right psychology is more important than the actual trade strategy, trade philosophy. And you can see Cameron didn't get there, just wake up that way. It's literally been years and years. It's been lost money. It's been going through the ups and downs of seeing the markets, but it's also been learning the market. So that's kind of the philosophy we want to start with. Let's kind of jump in next to really the what when it comes to the technology, when it comes to their actual trading strategies. And present here just so it goes full screen. So, I mean, this is their words. I'll let Cameron kind of expand upon it. But what I love about it is that, we've heard the old adage, if you're in the financial space, the bots are great until they're not. Okay. And which is true to some degree, but it's also not true to degree because it's about risk management. So yes, you definitely need to have, when it comes to algorithms and technology, constant improvement. Cameron talked about their development team that looks at things on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis to make sure and see if it needs to be any tweaks based on market changes, right? But also, too, you need to have that human interaction, because there are times, Cameron said this earlier, it was a huge point that he said, they also know when to trade and when not to trade, right? And that's based on, a lot of big moves in the market. If there's a huge political person that tweets at the wrong time or promotes something or pumps something up, it's going to make the markets move, right? So those are definitely times you want to avoid the market. And it's just been by them learning. And so it's about 80% algorithm, 20% human. They have proprietary algorithm technology that helps them read the markets. What this does is basically gives them the ability through technology to go look at a whole lot more things than their eyes can actually even comprehend, right? I think it has over 6 different confluences that gives them the ability for them as a person, as a trader, to go make a decision on, hey, do we want to enter the market in this certain instance? So it gives them the ability to really use technology, but also their experience and to read exactly what the market's going on, right? And so maybe kind of expand a little bit on the what you guys have created, but also too, where capital preservation is definitely number one before growth. And it was so funny is that when we were talking to our good friend last night on the Zoom, he told all these experiences and he said, hey, here's what I want. I want there to be same capital in the account as there was the month before. Number one, capital preservation is number one. And then from there, we can grow the accounts. And we want to do it conservatively because we want to have the accounts 3, 4, or 5 years from now. Cameron asked him the question. He's like, hey, if we would have met, December of 2021, and you would experience the growth we had from our accounts, number one, where would your accounts be now? But number two, how big would your team be now? And he just smiled, got giddy, got excited, and said, the possibilities are literally endless when we do it the right way. So running conservative actually over time is going to grow bigger, not only on your accounts, but also your team. So kind of expand upon this, the what of what your program is and how that definitely manages people's funds.
Yeah. I think we're good. Yeah. So basically, how we're managing the capital is we've created a proprietary tool that allows us to be able to track all the different trades that are happening on the different major pairs. So we trade on all the majors in the market, and what this allows us to do is track where the institutional capital is coming in and where the retail capital is coming in, and how lopsided that is. So when the market presents certain opportunities, it allows us to be more patient and wait for the bigger institutional investors to come in, and we can start to see how lopsided that gets, and it gives us a very clear indication of when we can come into the market and capitalize on it. So the technology, essentially, we have a couple different algorithms, and those are trading, I would say, 3 to 5 days a week. And then from that, on top of that, we have manual intervention where we're able to see with a couple different indicators and algos when we can really scale into the market and get on the same side as the institutional players.
I love it.
Yeah.
So multiple algorithms, multiple touch points, multiple confluences, and all that does is just increase the winning percentage from the standpoint of it. But then also too, when to not actually jump into the market and not when to trade. So
That's the biggest
love
thing.
their strategy, love their philosophy. You guys can definitely see, hey, when Eric came to me and said, hey, Nick, we want to bring a financial product out, I said, I have the perfect partner. The only problem is we have to talk him into it. Because my first conversation when I talked to Cameron was not looking for this, right? They've done an incredible job with their fund. They've started bringing on some institutional funds. And Cameron said this quote to me. He's like, Nick, let me ask you a question. He's like, would you rather have, 20 clients, 40 clients, 50 clients, or thousands and thousands of clients? And I said, I totally get what you're saying, Cameron. I said, but you also know the power of what this industry is. And the reason that Cameron got started years ago, because he's been a huge builder, he's built, six-figure incomes, he's built large teams and organizations in the direct sales space. I said, the main reason that we all got started was to help the individual. And I know that there is no product out there on the market more than the financial space that can help and impact people all around the globe. And he smiled, and then obviously maybe kind of shared that conversation a little bit, Cameron, where you're at, and then eventually why you said yes to partnering with Nilo.
Well, I think first and foremost, there's huge trust with you. We spent a good amount of time together, and I think we see a business similarly, but also, I've looked up to you in certain situations and asked for your advice, and you've had my back in certain situations. So there's a great amount of trust. And so when you told me, hey, I really believe that we can do this right. Here's how I think this could have been done in the past, and how the experiences that you and I had, and how we felt about how we would have gone about building a business, that really resonated. So when you called, obviously, it's easier having 20 to 50 clients as opposed to having thousands and thousands. But I think with you and the team, and some of the ideas and how you guys are going to be bringing this to the market and to everyone on this call, I think that it's going to mitigate a lot of some of the issues that we had in the past. And I think that it gets me excited and riled up knowing that we already have so much data and so much proof, and that it all makes sense. I split off from building teams, and really hyper-focused on trading, hyper-focused on building this dev team and gaining this edge in the market. And now that's I've been able to hyper-focus on that, and you've got this situation with you and your team, with Eric, and this whole Nilo Life family. I think that it just is a no-brainer. I mean, if we can really help people suppress their greed and help people see that, don't worry about the returns this week or this month. Start to plan out what the next 5 years looks like and what you're going to be doing consistently. And that's really where the magic happens. And I think we can create that message here. I think we're doing it as we speak. And for me, I think there was a rock left unturned. And I think that now that we have an incredible strategy, I think we can win in the market pretty darn big, and we can do it with all of you guys. So it just made sense, and you definitely pulled on some heartstrings, and I think that we can do some special.
No, love it. And those heartstrings Cameron's traveled the world, he's built huge teams. We've seen the impact of what the financial space can do. And he's like, man, if we can make an impact by helping literally thousands of people, set themselves up and compress their time frames on their what I've always called Freedom Day, right? I've been blessed in this industry of direct sales. We've made some, a really phenomenal income. There's been a couple points in my career where I said, hey, I could definitely walk away. I walked away from traditional corporate America. There's been a number of times financially we've been, hey, to the point where I can go do what I want. And it is freedom to some degree, but it's also based off of, a certain product that we have, right? Or a certain compensation or a certain company, right? And now I am the owner of the company, but I still mean this wholeheartedly. There is no freedom like you being financially free because of your own personal assets, not because of a team, not because of a company, not because of a product. And that's what we want to create here. So when Cameron says, hey, we're here for, what it's going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as your accounts grow, as they compound, as your teams grow and your organizations grow, and you put more capital in, to where that can grow, if that's something that you definitely want to do, it gets fun and it gets exciting. And there is no website that I visited more in the last 5 years than a compound interest calculator, to say, hey, if I do this, this happens. If I do this, this happens, right? And so when we get closer to launching this thing, like you said, we're not far off. We're weeks away. To kick it off, we'll bring out a lot more information, exactly what it is. We'll have more data. We'll have more of the historical data, but it's going to look just like this, right? Those of you that are outside the United States and Canada, you'll have a button in your digital offices, Needle LifeTrade, that will take you a link to a platform. And this platform, they've literally taken in billions of dollars. They've been connected with brokers and liquidity that's literally been in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Very legitimate. They're licensed, registered, regulated all around the globe. And so you'll go there, you'll do your KYC there, which is to verify that you are who you say you are. When you come to the financial markets, they got to make sure 100% that all is legit, that funds in, funds out are definitely there. You'll do your KYC. Once you do your KYC, you'll then connect to what the fund is. And from there, you'll deposit. You can deposit via fiat, via crypto. At that point in time, you'll click a button and it will connect you to the fund. And it's simple from there. Now, one of the things that we've been working really hard on is connecting the fund directly to liquidity. And so there's a lot of pinch points in this whole financial space. And last night when we were talking, he mentioned a few of them, right? There's the platform where you put your money on. There is the brokerage where your money is, right? Is the broker a B-book brokerage? And if you're not from the financial space, some of this is going to sound like a different language. That's completely okay. But you're going to think, hey, is it a B broke or is it an A broker, right? So we've actually eliminated that pinch point, went directly to a liquidity provider. This liquidity provider, they actually provide liquidity to over 14 other liquidity providers. So they're an aggregator for liquidity, which just means that the funds are being traded directly on the market. There's no potential for foul play. There's no potential for rug pull. There's no potential for a broker trading against you. We've experienced all these things. And so we wanted to eliminate all the pinch points. That's what's taken a little bit from the technology to get set up. Once it's there and set up, we're going to have simple videos that you can walk through to walk you through the process to make it simple for you. In the end, our goal is we want to set not thousands, not tens of thousands, we want to set hundreds of thousands of people financially free because they said yes, because they did this, which means that we will have hundreds of thousands of people in the organization building. And so I'm going to echo on one more thing that Cameron said, is that in this industry, typically people will put out products, whether it was a bot, whether it was a signal, whether it was some educational piece, where the majority of the team building, time went towards the product. Teach people how to run a bot, teach people how to use a signal to go use it, teach people education. So I spent so much time over here, which made it really a lot harder to go build an organization. But the ones that have been really simple weren't really legit to where you go build these huge organizations and then eventually it would go away. We want to find that perfect balance, and we've created that perfect balance to where, hey, those of you that really want to have higher returns, you increase your hustle, which means you build a bigger team, right? Cameron echoed on it. He's like, we don't believe in raising the risk to get a higher return. We believe in raising the capital. And we put together an incredible platform here with Needle Life that gives you the ability to go hustle, create more capital that you can put in to get higher returns. And so we're excited about this thing. We're kicking off. Like you said, we're weeks away. As soon as we have an exact launch date, we'll be ready to go. As you guys see in your digital back office on things that are coming, it says the 17th of June. That's been there for weeks. We're still confident that we're going to hit that date as it gets closer and closer and closer. But we'll put more information out on that. Cameron?
Yeah, real quick. Whether you've seen other financial companies out there in the past or you haven't, take it from us. We've seen dozens come through, dozens, like 20 plus. And there's not a single one that I've seen standing past 5 years right now. And the thing is that what I want to ask you guys, as you guys, I'm going to pretend like everyone on this call has been using this for 90 days. And I went through it. Let's say the first month we did 4%. Let's say the second month we did 6%. Let's say the third month we did 1.3%. Now, in your mind, what do you, there's some people that have, and there's some people on your team that haven't been involved for 90 days. Maybe their first month was 6%. Maybe their first month was 1.3%. Now, what I've seen a lot of the time is, and what I want to ask you guys, would you guys rather have me taking more risk and shooting for that 8, 10, 12, 15% month with the possibility of losing a lot of capital or losing it all in 5 months, 6 months, 7 months down the road? Or would you rather, over the next 2, 5, 6 years, consistently taking what the market gives? Sometimes there's a big month, sometimes there's a small month. Obviously, the answer is you'd rather me be consistent and us be around 5 years from now. Because when you have a team of a couple hundred, you have teams of large magnitude. If we lose money, we have to restart. So our goal is to consistently just take what the market gives so that we can continue to all build a business and all be around for a long period of time. And when we were talking to this gentleman last night, he talked about basically having to rebuild teams and people losing money 8+ different times. And so my goal here and what I want to hyper focus on with this opportunity is making sure that, even if we do have a slow month or 2 slow months, we're still in the market healthy and winning so that we can all continue to win in the markets over a long period of time, be around for a long time. That's really the number one focus for this opportunity. So you're not going to see us prioritize hitting a 10% month, because that forces us to have more exposure in the market. And with exposure comes more losses. And I don't want that to happen, so that you guys don't 6 months down the road be like, dang, we lost a lot of money. The whole goal is to preserve the capital and then secondly, grow it. Preserve and then grow. And that allows us to be around in, 5 years from now plus, and we're having different conversations in different rooms of the world.
And typically when you jump on a presentation like this for a company launching a financial product, they're going to, talk 20% a month return, certain percents per day, all the things. And so we want to really set the precedent that, hey, it is about philosophy. It's about long-term. It's about capital preservation. It's about running things conservative. It's based on our experiences the last handful of years, Cameron and his team experience the last handful of years on a right way to grow money. Now, with that being said, right, even though we've talked conservative, capital preservation, normally it's the opposite. They talk about these huge high returns. They talk about, throwing a calculator on there and you go say, hey, here's what your money's gonna be worth in a certain amount of years. We're not going to predict anything of it. And past performance does not predict future results, right? The markets change. But because of the reason the markets change is the reason that they have the philosophies, the reason they have the dev team, the reason they have the team of traders put in place to have success. With that being said, and we'll jump off and close with this, the top hedge fund in the United States last year, and I know that we're not going to be doing this in the United States, I just know this because I looked it up earlier, it was like 48% is what they grossed last year, top hedge fund. With that being said, their investors, their clients, they paid them less than 20%. I don't know the exact number. It was somewhere between 15 and 20%. What was your gross return last year for your fund, Cameron?
63%.
And what did your clients get?
They actually got 48%.
48%. So with that being said, with the right philosophies, you definitely can win, but it is not a 6 to 12 month thing. It's not a 12 to 18 thing. It's not an 18 to 24 month thing. It literally is compressing timeframes substantially from what we're used to. The old 40 plan, right? Work 40 years, 40 hours for 40 hours and retire in 40 years based off of a 40-year income. We can compress those timeframes by using technology, by leveraging these things, but it is definitely not going to be overnight, and is definitely going to be, more of a 5-year, plus plan, depending on what you put in there. But we are excited to kick this thing off. We'll be bringing out a whole lot more information when we have the exact launch date of this. We'll have a lot more Zooms leading up to it. We'll go through the process, the platforms, get a lot of the questions answered, have a Q&A on the platform, have a Q&A on this, and we're excited. There's been a lot that's been coming. As you can see, it's 7 years in coming from Cameron. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, not 7 figures, put into their systems, their tools, their trading team, as well as a ton that we put on our side to make sure that we eliminate those pinch points to make it simple. But also for those who want to build a team and organization, make it really simple, duplicatable, to where you guys can go out and build a substantial team, most importantly, so we can impact more people. So appreciate you. Final words, Cameron, we'll jump off.
I just hope that one day you guys can experience the little happiness my mom is at right now in Europe. Yeah, I think the freedom's coming, and it just takes time. So let's bring this to other people. Let's share this, and let's set the right expectations and tone for what this actually can do over, like I said, a couple of years.
Love it. Appreciate y'all. You guys have a great day. Thank you, Cameron, for jumping on. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to y'all soon.